countless witticisms, 4 children, and Ryan Reynolds are all present in Blake Lively's family world. Blake Lively grew up in a large family as the youngest of 5 children, although the loving aunt revealed to E! News in 2014 before the birth of her first child that she wasn't the one babysitting while growing up in Burbank, California. "I'm always the person who's taking everyone else's kid and putting them on my hip, so I've kinda always been a mama. We'll see, then." She gave birth to her 4th child, a sibling for girls James, 8, Inez, 6, and Betty, 3, earlier this year. The sibling's name is still TBD, or it will be mentioned in a Taylor Swift song, whichever comes first. In part because he'd gotten the hang of being a girl dad, Reynolds, who has 3 elder brothers, said he was kind of hoping they'd have another girl. The actor, who admitted to having a slight case of mental frostbite after watching Frozen too many times to count, was quick to add on today that they'd be ready for whatever happens. Before the 2023 Super Bowl, the couple's mystery was finally answered when Lively revealed that she was no longer pregnant in a wink-wink Instagram post on February 12th. And everyone is aware that more information won't be forthcoming anytime soon. Lively has some unbending restrictions about what she and Reynolds post on social media, and rule number 1 is that they cannot post pictures of their children. However, she is not too precious to publish a picture of her breast pump. He recalls telling Lively in 2015 that he would die for her because he loved her more than anything else. He also stated on The Late Show with David Letterman that after they had James, "The second I looked in that baby's eyes, I knew in that exact moment that if we were ever under attack, I would use my wife as a human shield to protect that baby." The new father exulted to E! "At the time, you got a big idiotic smile on your face, even waking up in the middle of the night. You would kill anything else that woke you up every 45 minutes. However, having a child is the nicest thing that has ever happened to you." And it was during these reflective times that he continued to experience genuine epiphanies. Regarding the potential of James, who was then 3 months old, being an actor one day, he told today's Willie Geist, "You worry about pretty silly stuff. And you kind of sit there and wonder, oh my God, is she going to want to do this? You're going to be a flight attendant, a barista," I like to whisper in her ear, saying, "You're going to be a really normal everyday job. Simply good, everyday employment so you can have a nice, everyday existence." One day James and her siblings will realize how odd it is that their mom was a former cast member of one of the most popular series of the 2000s and that their father formerly had the title of Sexiest Man Alive. But Lively and Reynolds have been working hard to raise the normalcy level at home. Lively is a prolific holiday baker who grew up in a household that was so brilliant at wrapping presents that they almost didn't want to unwrap presents. However, when they brought their kids to a concert where Aunt Taylor was the headlining act, their cover may have been compromised. The couple chose to establish roots in the lower Hudson Valley, not exactly in humble circumstances, but with more space for their family tree to flourish and seclusion than if they were right in the midst of Manhattan or LA. Nevertheless, home is in Bedford, NY. Although that didn't stop paparazzi from snooping around during Lively's most recent pregnancy. The 35-year-old gracefully responded on Instagram with a slideshow of images she had taken herself, "So the 11 guys waiting outside my home for a sighting will leave me alone. You scare my children and I." By the time Reynolds and Lively brought James and Inez to his Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony in December 2016, no one outside of their carefully selected circle had even heard of their second child's name. Reynolds responded, "You've given us 2 of the most incredible children that I could ever want to have. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You've got a neatly landed joke." Certainly, but the sardonic 46-year-old has spoken about using humor as a coping technique since he was young. In 2018, he said, "My father was a very funny man," according to Geist on Sunday Sit Down. He was highly intelligent, but he was also a really intimidating, tough man. He had such a powerful presence that just walking into a room might cause the oxygen to suddenly disappear. I used to call him a landmine with skin on it. He was the type of person who could just blow out, so I learned to kind of diffuse that with jokes and other methods of getting him to laugh. I guess it sounds more dramatic than it actually was, but in a way, I was singing for my dinner." The Vancouver native was happy that his early life had helped him develop the wit that was so essential to his success, but that environment also motivated him to try to provide a different upbringing for his own children. "As a parent, part of my job is to model behaviors and model what it's like to be sad, and model what it's like to be anxious or angry," he said in an interview with Entertainment Tonight in 2021. "There is room for all of these things. The house I grew up in wasn't exactly designed with me in mind. And while it's not meant to imply that my parents were careless, they do belong to a different generation." He admitted to details that while he always desired a large family, he was also a little afraid of being genetically predisposed to only having boys. Reynolds thought she had found the ideal mate in Lively, but she quickly realized that wasn't the case. "All my eggs are in one basket, and that's my family," she remarked to Marie Claire in 2016. "My heart is there, you know." That is the center of my existence. Reynolds would always be her best friend for the rest of her life, therefore she knew he was the one. The most important thing to me was that I had never experienced a friendship like the one I had with him. I could love him as deeply as I could like him.